Hello everyone and welcome to Katharine's Creatures. This is a series where you get to talk a little bit about and touch base upon various mythological beasts, beings, and the like, pulled from lore worldwide. And I always like to preface by saying I am not a linguist, so if I mispronounce anything, I do apologize in advance. And today is kind of almost a second part, because this particular entity that I'm about to talk about is closely tied to the one I talked about last week, and this one is Rangda. And Rangda is a demon queen that ruled over essentially the Layaks, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, from Balinese myth, and of course this is located in Bali. And the Layaks are essentially this kind of group of monstrous entities. They have the form of these floating heads with entrails hanging below them. I know this is a lovely little bit of information for you, but they are terrifying. And so Rangda, being the queen of the Layaks, hopefully again I'm pronouncing this right, is herself very terrifying in various ways. She looks different, completely different actually, than a lot of her subjects, but she is known to be this child-eating, fearsome entity that leads these evil spirits. Sometimes she's referred to as leading armies of witches against the leader of the good forces. As I talked about last week, that particular leader, his name is Borong, and you can check out that particular video if you're more interested in him and being the king of pretty much the side of good, because this is a true good versus evil story between the two of them. But Rangda is described as having this long unkempt hair. She is a female, typically depicted as a nude or mostly nude. She has pendulous breasts, horrifying fangs. Typically, this battle between good and evil, as I mentioned last time, is depicted in this famous dance. And the mask that is of Rangda always depicts her of having, again, these horrifying fangs, these kind of giant googly eyes, this protruding tongue that comes out of her mouth, and again, this kind of terrifying look that she has. And actually, Rangda comes from this old Javanese word, which is the word for widow. So try to figure out that one. Scratch that one. I couldn't figure out why that a word that originally meant widow was at a later point applied to this monstrous queen of evil, essentially. Now, because Bali is this kind of originally was a Hindu island, Rangda is associated with several of the Hindu goddesses. There's Durga as well as Kali. One's on the nicer side and the other one is on more of the menacing side of the goddesses, but she has associations with both of them. And Rangda herself is known to be the personification of evil in a form. So again, terrifying entity. She's also thought, depending on the stories and the specific lore, to be possibly this incarnation of this very famous witch. And her name was Kalin Orang. And so because of that, she's this master. The witch actually was this master or mistress of black magic and black arts. So now that you have this kind of incarnation of her in this demonic form, that is even building on that concept of evil and personification of evil. There are other entities and beings Rangda is associated with, but those are the ones that I thought were most fascinating. The idea that she's potentially this reincarnation of a witch, and also her links to two different Hindu goddesses. Now, if you have any questions about this or anything else, please post them in the comments below or reach out to me on any of my social media. Until next time, everyone, Skål.